done this process before. And if you have done it before, and you can think of some things I've missed, let me know, okay? I'm going to actually go ahead and share screen now. And let me find my presentation. Okay. Share. There we go. Okay. Does everybody see this screen?
Yes.
All right. Very good. So you'll see it's this is the intro, of course. Chapter 1, and it says chapter 1 because I want to get us all through. Let's get the grant applications done, and then we'll do another session later on how we go about wrapping them up, doing all of the information that needs to be provided, because I can be forgiving, but all of this also needs to go to the Rotary Foundation, and they're the ones that do the ultimate yes, okay. So we want to make sure it's right. So let's just get started. And if you have compelling questions, you can raise your hand. I think Marilyn can maybe see everybody. I can only see, or I will have room for questions at the end. All right, so just a little reminder what a community block grant is. And we know that when our club makes contributions 3 years later, a percentage of that has been invested by the Rotary International Foundation comes back to the district. And the district allocates what club, who gets what or not. It's in percentage to what you donated in the past, but how much of that is used for global grants and how much is used for community block grants is done on a district by district basis. So if you had, does everybody know what their club is receiving this year? How much dollars?
Yes.
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 Okay, some do,
Yes.
some don't. As you can see here, if you don't, we did finally manage to get it up on the website.
Oh,
What we do, Foundation, Community Block Grant, and then
Rita.
you click. And that will tell you how much you get, or it's listed on DACDB. And I sent out a list to the presidents. Okay.
Just a little housekeeping thing here. If you're not asking a question, please mute yourself.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I wasn't talking to you, Jay.
Oh,
There he goes. Okay. So this is just an overview. You decide on your project, and that's an important thing. That you, your club, your board will say, what are we going to use with our $2,000, $3,000, $500? And my only hint is keep it simple. Don't get too complicated, because you will have to document and report on all of that. And you have to assign a member. Obviously, how many people do we have on here now?
About 15.
Okay. I'm assuming that everyone who is on this call is going to be working on the grant process. So that's why we need to know who you are. You will need to go into DACDB and create a new grant request. I'll walk through that shortly. You will need to fill out and upload the Rotary Foundation MOU, or Memorandum of Understanding. And some have done that. You will upload it to your grant, or you will send it to me signed, or you can send it to Patsy Orr, our foundation chair. Any way you can get it to us, that's critical for the grant to be approved. And then we have to meet the deadline, September 30th. We pushed this back a month because we were kind of late in getting the information to you on what you had available. And then you have to have a person, complete training, which this qualifies. Or if you went to the district assembly, or you've done a previous Zoom training, that qualifies you. for being able to submit. Okay, where to find your application? Now, this is an important one. You do need to know how to get into DAC-DB and get to My Club. Okay? If you don't know how to get into DAC-DB, I have another simple instructions on how you go about doing that. And I think at DAC-DB, they also have that information. But once you're in DAC-DB, you look at My Club at the top, that whole thing across the top, you select it. The first thing you will see is your list of your icons. If you don't see a club grant icon, then you can go to a menu that says how to get this icon on, and it's pretty easy to do that. You simply follow the instructions on the screen and say, I want club grant, and you pull it up into your visible list. So if you need help doing that, let me know. But once you have that, then you click on that club grant icon and it will take you to the overview. And there you're going to see, and I didn't show it all, but you're going to see a full list of all the clubs and what they are getting for this year. So you're looking at the full list, but that's not active. What you need to do is go to the left where you see this grant navigation, and you're going to look at Club Grant View. And when you click on that, you will see your club come up. It'll be looking kind of like this. You'll see a list of your club. You click on let me go back one. You will click and that grant portal will open up and you will see where it says start a new grant. But the important thing is to make sure when you do that, that you are on the correct year. So there is an option to change it and you need to be on 2025-26. So that's the very first point that you're going to need. And my little circle is not in the right place. So forget that. You're going to fill in all the requested information here and a brief project description. And it doesn't have to be real complicated, just a description of what it is you want to use this grant money for. Again, focus on one or two projects, keep it simple. That round up here, don't bother to change that. That is something that I believe is there for grants where there's more than one round of grant funding. We only have one per year. So you fill that all out and now you're going to see that when you click done, that you're seeing the application itself. Here, and by the way, the save button is up here. You use that save button a lot. You will put in a time frame. It can be any time during this year that you wish to have, as long as I would suggest you don't make it too late in the year. You don't want to be trying to finish up your project in May because we need to get the reports in that time frame. This should be the club address. And then you put in a description. Who will it benefit? Who are the Rotarians involved in this? And publicity plan, if you can do any promoting for it in your community, through your newsletter, or whatever, make a note of that. And here, if you're working with another organization, let's say the local Red Cross or whatever, that's where you would put the name of them that you're going to be using some of this funds for, and you need to get a letter from them saying, yes, thank you, we are cooperating with your club on this particular project. It's fairly easy to get it. You just have to ask. Okay, are there any questions so far on any of this? Okay, there is
What-
one point I think I missed. And no, we'll get to that in a minute.
What if you don't have your project fully defined by the end of September?
What is what?
What if you don't have your project fully defined or determined by the end of September?
Well, then it's kind of hard to apply for a grant if you don't have it defined. You need to have that. And I don't know how we can apply for a grant and not have that information in there.
Right, right.
Yeah. So I would suggest that you um pull everybody together. If I know people have been out of town, it's been kind of hard to get a hold of. If you don't meet in the summer, that's kind of difficult. But see if you can come up with something that you know you can accomplish and that you can assign for this grant. Now, Mary, what happens if they change their mind?
We had that happen during COVID. Of course, a lot of people were going to send kids to Ryler Pride. So, to keep it really simple, we told them just go ahead and pick another project, but put that information in the final report. So that's how we handled that.
Okay. Okay, so that is a way to handle that if you aren't sure about a project, but the approval is based on what you're putting into this application. So only do that if you, and you know, give me a call, let me know what your issue is, and we can talk about it as well. Okay? Um, and by the way, yes, you can save and come back at any time. That's the hint. Okay, here is the budget tab, and here is where you will put in, very simply, what that amount of funding is. If you put in the wrong amount, it will say, you don't have that, or you don't have that much, or you have more than that. And then you all need to know that your club needs to put in a minimum contribution of $100. You can add more. You can, you know, $300, $400, $500, whatever it takes to finish funding your project. And but that's the minimum. That has to go in here under, and how you do that is add income source. And that you put it in here, and when you do that, it'll pop up here. It'll be one line for your DDF and one line for your, did I just do that? Yes, I did. And one line for your club contribution. And that's all you need to put in there. The expense items, I would suggest right now just putting in an expense total of what the total of those two things are, and not worry about starting to try and detail that, because that's something that you will do later. As you're distributing your funds and you're spending money, then we'll worry about you getting the expense items in there. And there's two ways to do that, which I'll mention later. Okay, so whoops, let me go back one more time. Down here, this is what your budget will look like. There's what we have. And the second thing is the club contribution. So we have a total of $2,075 to spend. Okay. Any questions on this part? No? Okay. This is the document tab. This is of the tabs that are across here. Is the one where you will put your images eventually when you have pictures of the event or program. Your documents, your MOU can go in there. You can put in your receipts and images of the checks that are written in there. There's two ways to do that too. we'll, do it the simplest way that you can, as long as it's organized. If you have a lot of different expenses, I suggest that you keep a kind of a external balance sheet of what's been spent and where the expenses went. So you've got all that lined up and you're not frantically looking for it next May when you have to report on and finalize your grant.
Can I add something, Jennifer?
Sure.
We have had the documents page filled up with a whole bunch of items in the past. If you keep it, like Jennifer said many times, keep it simple. If you just label council check or receipt or picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, we really only need maybe 2 pictures is enough. And the briefest way to put the documents in also makes it easier for the person that's looking at the grant, because if we've got to go through 10 documents, it takes up a lot of time. You multiply that, we had 49 applications last year. If each of them had 10 documents, I wouldn't be able to do anything else in my life. So just keep it simple, so we can find them. Nobody else looks at this but us. So you don't have to worry about labeling it, Greater Eastvale receipt. You can just put receipt. Okay?
Yes, and as I said, if you have a lot, for your own sake, keep it organized in some kind of a little spreadsheet. And that makes it easier for you to know whether you're hitting your goal, whether you're hitting your target of the amount of money that you need to be spending. So, yeah, I'm going to go back here just.
There,
Uh-huh.
there was a question in the chat about
Uh-huh.
using the community grant funds for Polio Plus. Is that allowed?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't think it is. It's not.
I don't think so, because that's sending it right back to the whole idea of it is that it's money that comes back for us to be able to use in our own communities. And that doesn't do that. Now, donate
for-
to Polio Plus.
For international grants, you could, for the international grants portion of your DDF, that can be attributed directly or directed directly to Polio Plus, but I do not believe that community grants money can go there.
No, not for community grants. And for global grant, I'm not sure either, but have you?
It is.
It is? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so does that answer? I don't know who asked that question, but does that answer that? I want to point out one tab up here that I think I just kind of skipped over, and it's clubs involved. That is other clubs that are partnering with you, but are not, if they are also donating, or let's say utilizing their DDF global or DDF community grant money, and you put them in there, they will have to also put you into theirs. In other words, they have to be signatures also on this grant, because you're mingling the money. That's not where you would put a club that's just going to be doing volunteer with you, but isn't contributing anything monetarily. That you would put in under the application where we talked about other organizations that are involved, which is right back wherever that is. Here. Active Rotarian involvement, or cooperating organizations. That's where you would mention if you're working with another club. But they're not putting in any of their community grant money, if they even have any. That question came up today from somebody. How are we doing time-wise, Marilyn?
You're only about 23 minutes into this, so you've got another 20 minutes or so.
Okay, good. Okay, so the documents tab we talked about. And again, keep it very simple and identify the things that you're uploading simply but clearly. So, and also if you are uploading receipts, they need to be readable. We've had issues where there's a receipt, but we can't really read it, and that makes it hard to then reconcile it with, whoops, sorry. I keep clicking on this thing. All right, so when we get to the very end, you've done all of this, you will see that at the top, there's actually a couple more things have been added. And it used to be just clubs involved, contacts, applications, budget. Now you see expense, documents was there before, but you're seeing activity log, which wasn't there before. So what the expenses does, that allows you to track your expenses. And that's one of the things that I will go into on the other presentation, because it may be of use to you and it may not. Because you have to have, it all has to reconcile, or you end up with uneven amounts against your budget. So that's one that if it's simple and you can just put things into your budget line by line, use that. Otherwise, you can use the expenses. Okay. So if you're confident that you have correctly entered all the information, you can click submit for district approval. And what it will say is either yes, you are completed, and it will show you a window that says that the grant is locked, which it really isn't, but it will automatically add the signatures that you have in place. If you don't have any signatures, which you shouldn't be able to even be working on the grant if you don't, it'll alert you. And if you want to add anybody to the signature log, you can do it here. So if you submit and then you say, oh my goodness, oops, I did something wrong, you can go back by hitting a button that says, and you can't see it on this, but it says to revert to your draft. If you've been saving, your draft is your application with everything in it except the approval, your club approval signatures. And you can go back, you can make what changes you need to do, and then you would just click again to submit the grant for district approval. So this is the basics of it. Now, what I can do, as I say, is send this whole PowerPoint to everybody. You can go through it step by step. And if something doesn't quite gel with what you're seeing on here, let me know, and we'll figure out what it might be. And again, collect your backup. The minute some clubs do their projects before Christmas, maybe it's a Christmas one. Bill, you got a question?
Say more than what they say.
Yeah, Jennifer, I just have a couple questions. When you mentioned the MOU, it can be sent to you in an attachment via email, or in the past, I've always loaded it onto the document page of the grant.
That's fine.
Okay.
You can either upload it there or send it to me and I can upload it.
Okay. And I have another concern. When we got the printout for our club, The district has kept a lot of money for their district use. Number one, who determines how much is kept from the DDF allocation for any given year? And second of all, the other question is, why aren't the percentages the same throughout all the clubs?
The percentages are the same through all the clubs. So, well, answer your first question. The district governor makes that determination on how much is going to be set aside for either the district use for whatever it might be, VTT or whatever, and how much will go back to the clubs and how much will be set aside for global grants.
Okay, okay.
So
And
that's,
then the different percentages, as you see on that printout that we got with our DDF allocation, the percent of total that's kept by the district, it seems to be up and down the whole scale.
that's
They've
the
kept,
percentage of the total. That's not a percentage of the, every club is getting the same percentage of the net based on their contribution 3 years ago. So I know that's a little confusing. I looked at that the first time. I went, what does this mean? But it doesn't mean that each club is getting a different allocation. They're getting a different percentage because of what they contributed 3 years earlier.
correct. But the district portion that is kept by whatever the district governor, whoever decides, the district governor decides, well, I'm going to keep 46% of what the Palm Springs Sun Up Club donated 3 years ago, and the Palm Springs Club, they're only retaining 20. The district is only retaining 26% of what they gave 3 years ago. I just wondered why the difference in different percentages of retention to the district.
Jennifer, I think what you said, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, is those percentages are not the percentages of the total DDF to the district that the club is getting. Is that right?
Right, yeah. Those percentages are not what what the district is withholding is based on the percentage of what the club has gotten of the total pool. Okay, so as I say, that percentage thing is misleading. Now, if you need further clarification on that, you can talk to, the district governor and see, well, how is this calculated? But it's not that he's taking 20% of what you get for your club and then taking only 10% from your allotment.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, I know. I think it's kind of confusing. I wouldn't even have that percentage thing in there but it was in there. So are there any other questions at this point?
If I could just do a quick housekeeping thing. If you have not yet entered your name and your email address and your club in chat, please do that before you sign out. Thank you.
Okay, I can only see a very small number of people here. So let me stop sharing. Well, let me go to my very last screen. As I said, there will be further details and training as well as I'm available. Send me an email. I'm trying to answer as quickly as I can if there's questions, and I know there will be, and there's my information. I'm going to stop sharing so I can actually see everybody. Oh, there we are. Hi. Any other questions? Do we dare end up? Isabel, you're muted.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
I have a question for a newly formed non-traditional club that we have. So we don't have the 3-year history or historical data. Is that a question we need to pose to the district governor as far as how the percentage is allocated, or is there a separate process?
Yeah, no, if you didn't, If you didn't exist 3 years ago, you have no funds to use this year through the community grant.
I see. And
Yeah.
how do we start being able to use? Where do we begin?
Well, when did you form? What club are you with?
Namaste Nexus. It's newly formed, like a month.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're
It just
brand
got
new.
chartered.
Yeah. This year, start making contributions. Have your members make contributions. The club can contribute to Polio Plus through a fundraiser. You have to put in funds, and then 3 years from now will be the first time that you will be able to be eligible for
Apply.
a community grant. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay, that's clear.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's start about non-traditional.
And that's so for non-traditional clubs as well?
As far as I know, I'm not sure what
Okay.
a non-traditional club is.
This one is what they are calling it pecans, professionals, ethnic, community. Oh, new channels. That's the generic reference.
Okay.
New channels type of club.
Yeah, as far as I know, the DDF district distribution is the same for any kind of club, whether it's an e-club, a traditional club, a non-traditional club. It's based
Okay.
on the money that is donated to the Rotary Foundation, and one of the ways that you can donate over the years. So
Yeah. Can I say something?
sure.
You sound, anyway, the other way is that the district governor can make a decision to set aside a little pot that he's going to distribute to clubs that don't have a 3-year track record and therefore aren't getting anything, which would provide them with a piece of this community grant pie. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
So,
Okay.
for example, when there's a couple ways that can happen, but just to make it easy, Doug McClellan set aside some money and said, I want to give X amount to every club, and especially the ones that don't have any coming to them. Now, that only happened once, I think, but in other instances, out of the 60 clubs, if there's 2 or 3 that don't have any allocation coming under the old system, the governor can say, I'm going to set aside maybe $1,000 out of the total pot and give it on some kind of a basis. Maybe it's 2 or 3 or $400 to the 2 or 3 clubs that don't qualify.
Okay.
End
Yeah,
of
no,
story.
so you'd have to petition the governor on to do this.
You could
I have
talk
not
him in.
heard any indication that that's going to happen this year, but it could.
Well, if the decision, if the allocations are already made, then it's probably too late. Because you'd have to take away from somebody else to give to
September.
a new club.
If you have an idea, talk to Taco.
Yeah, because we already have a community service project that we've started, and so hopefully we'll get some funding for that. But we'll go through the district governor and get some
Yeah.
clarification on where we might have to start and how.
Okay. Cal?
Thank you.
Myself up. Another option is in the district, we have what is called the Wallace Jones Grant. So that is for communities, things that clubs are going to do to support elderly, handicap, youth. And I know about your project. I would get a hold of Anne Marie Duncan, who is our Wallace Jones Grant Chair, and take a look at that. You might be able to get a couple $1,000s from the Wallace Jones grants.
Good idea.
That's
Yeah.
I can tell you.
highly specific. And
It is.
as you mentioned, It is strictly for a grant that will provide some sort of an activity between the senior citizens and school kids, or handicapped and school kids. Those are the two caveats those grants have to be for.
Thank you.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any further
Hi,
questions?
this is Doug Emery from Beaumont Cherry Valley. So I'm in the grant application process and I'm in the budget tab here. And we got the email that we have 800, this is Beaumont Cherry Valley, we have $859 in club grant and the global DDF of 1,103, which is fine.
Yeah.
In the budget section, are we just supposed to put the global, the grant or also the DDF? Because there's some.
No, just your community grant, just the things that are in that one column.
Okay.
The global grant, you cannot use that for community block grant.
Okay, because there's
That can be used for supporting global grants.
Oh, I see. Okay, because
Yeah.
there's references to DDF in the budget tab that was throwing me off, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a little confusing.
Oh,
It shows both, and then it shows a total.
right. Okay, but we're just putting in the club grant amount. Okay.
Yeah, that 859.
Okay, thank you.
Can I suggest to the new clubs that they need to have a foundation chair and that they need to try and get at least $25 from each member for every Rotarian every year? And that would give them something. If they did that every year, at the end of the 3 years, they would have at least something if they didn't get other members to donate more than $25 a year. You know, $25 a month, you know, whatever each Rotarian can afford, no more than they can afford, of course.
Yeah, that's an idea. Our club, we actually make that part of our dues. That there's an so that every year we are at every Rotarian every year club, which is a nice distinction. It's a per capita donation. And Brian, you had your finger up there.
Jennifer, a reminder of something you said in another meeting. Always have more than one person as your contact on your grant in case something happens.
Well, that's true, yeah. But no, 2 is probably enough.
And if you have to, do both of them have to sign it?
They both need to be in the signature thing, and then when the grant closes and it pulls those signatures, it will pull both of them. But yeah, for the sake of making sure that you have more than one person that has access to it, it's a good thing to have 2.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right.
Are
Wow.
there any other questions? I'm
Yeah,
sure
as
you'll
I
think
said-
of some along the way.
I'll try and get this PowerPoint out tomorrow to everybody as soon as I have everybody's emails that I don't already have on my list, and just let me know. And good luck, and try and get this put together by deadline, because that's supposed to be a firm deadline, by golly.
Thank you, Jennifer.
The deadline.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you all for taking the time of your cocktail hour, feed the dog hour, or feed the family, and we'll see you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank
did a
you.
great job explaining.
Thank you, Marilyn, for your help.
And thank you all for tuning in.